You can do everything right with money, budget every dollar, cut every subscription, cook every meal at home. And still, at the end of the month, the number is smaller than it should be. Not because you didn't try, because somewhere in your life there's a crack you've never been trained to see. Picture a house in the dead of winter, every wall insulated, every door sealed. The heating bill is high, but the owner has done the math, the house should hold its warmth. And yet the cold keeps creeping back in. Every night the temperature drops faster than it should. The owner checks the furnace, checks the walls, checks the attic, everything looks fine. But heat doesn't disappear evenly. It doesn't drain out through 10 small gaps at once. It finds the one place where resistance is lowest, one window, cracked open half an inch, and it pours out through that single gap, faster than every other wall combined can hold it in. That's not just how houses work, that's how money works. And it's how most people lose theirs, without a single bad decision they'd ever notice. Here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. The size of the gap doesn't matter. A half-inch crack in a window can undo the insulation of an entire house. It doesn't matter how thick the walls are, heat follows the path of least resistance always. It doesn't reward effort, it doesn't care how hard you worked sealing the other 99%. One untreated gap and the whole system bleeds. Now think about your own finances, your subscriptions canceled, your coffee budget cut, your spreadsheet color-coded and perfect. And still, somehow, the money isn't there. You've sealed 99 walls, but there's one window. And you've never even looked at it because it doesn't look like a window, it looks like a reward. Every month there's a moment, a small, recurring decision, where money leaves your hands and you don't fully register it as spending. It might be a delivery order after a hard day, a treat after a stressful meeting, an upgrade you almost don't notice because it felt earned. None of these decisions show up on a budget as a problem, they show up as normal. And that's exactly why they're never the thing you fix. This is where it gets interesting because the leak isn't really about money, it's about temperature. There's a moment right before that small spend happens where something shifts inside you, a tightness in the chest. A flatness in the day, a craving for relief that has nothing to do with the price tag. Behavioral scientists have a name for what happens next. Your brain takes the immediate reward over the long-term outcome, every time because the emotional system in that moment is louder than the planning system. It's not weakness, it's wiring. Your brain is built to chase warmth right now, even if it means losing more heat later. And here's the part nobody talks about. This leak doesn't drain your money evenly either, it compounds. A crack in a window doesn't just lose you one night's heat, it forces your furnace to work harder every single night after, burning more just to maintain the same temperature. The leak doesn't stay the same size. It grows the cost of everything around it. That $12 order today isn't $12. It's $12 plus the $12 from last week, plus the quiet decision your brain makes without telling you that this is just how things are. That's the moment the leak stops being an event and becomes a structure. A permanent gap in the wall that you've started calling normal life. So if the leak isn't really about money, if it's about a moment, a feeling, a temperature drop inside you right before the spend, then finding it isn't about looking at your bank statement. Your bank statement shows you where the heat left. It doesn't show you why the window was open in the first place. Here's where most people get stuck and where this gets uncomfortable in a different way. Once you start looking for this leak, there's a real chance you'll find something you don't want to see. Because the leak isn't random, it's protected. Your brain built it for a reason. It's not a flaw in the system. It is the system doing exactly what it was designed to do, find relief fast no matter the long-term cost. Which means closing it isn't as simple as just not doing it anymore. You can't will a window shut if the frame itself is warped, force it and it cracks somewhere else. So how do you actually find it, the one gap that's draining everything else you've worked so hard to seal? Not by tracking what you spend, by tracking when you spend and what was happening inside you in the 60 seconds before. For 7 days, every time money leaves your hands in a way that wasn't planned, pause. Not to judge it, just to notice the temperature in that moment. Were you tired, bored? Avoiding something, proving something to yourself? Write down one word, that's all. By day 5, something strange starts to happen. A pattern emerges, and it's almost never about the thing you bought. It's about the moment you bought it in. The same emotional temperature again and again, right before the money moves. That recurring temperature, that's your crack. That's the half-inch gap in the window that's been undoing every other wall you've built. And here's the part that changes everything. Once you can see it, really see it, not as a money problem, but as a temperature problem, the fix isn't discipline, it's insulation. You don't seal a warped window by slamming it shut harder. You give the cold air somewhere else to go. You give that exact emotional temperature, that tiredness, that boredom, that need for relief, a different outlet that doesn't cost you anything. A 2-minute walk, a message to someone, even just naming the feeling out loud. The leak doesn't close because you fought it. It closes because you finally gave the pressure somewhere else to escape. This is why budgets fail for people who are doing everything right. A budget seals walls, it doesn't touch windows. You can build the most disciplined financial system in the world, and if there's one untreated emotional gap, the system will quietly root around all of it every single time, because that's what heat does. That's what money does, that's what attention does. It goes where the resistance is lowest, not where the plan says it should. So before you cut another subscription, before you build another spreadsheet, before you seal another wall that was already holding just fine, ask yourself the only question that actually matters. In the last week, when did the temperature drop? What was happening right before the money moved? That's not a question your bank app can answer, only you can. And once you find that one window, the real one, you'll notice something else. It was never really about this one leak at all. It was the first crack you learned to feel. And once you know what a crack feels like from the inside, you start noticing how many other rooms in your life have been running cold the exact same way.